Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate pre-show and after-show goodness. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate forum to keep up to date with the community debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Now, we're about to set up for the first and possibly only debate of the day, but we have got a couple of guests that are joining us in the panel while I set up, so I'll say a quick hello to them. How you doing, Paul? How you doing, Slick?
Hey, what's up, Nathan?
Guy?
Not too bad. Enjoying this beautiful morning.
Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be.
As Slick would say, I'm experiencing the morning, as Slick would say.
There you go.
Then you up a bit, Paul. Experiencing a what?
What's that? I'm sorry? I
All
said
right.
I'm experiencing the morning, like Slick would say.
I see. The sun's exactly where it needs to be for that experience to happen, Paul.
Exactly, and the clouds are right where they need to be, and the trees are right where they need to be.
Correct.
Sounds like music to me.
Then you up. It's Slick that needs to be turned up. As soon as I say that, though, everyone immediately shifts in their chair.
I can move my mic up a
No,
little bit.
don't.
How's
Definitely
don't do that.
No. I shouldn't say anything, because when you say something, people automatically assume that you mean do something, and it's fine. Whatever level you're at whenever you talk and you're comfortable in your seat, that's perfect, because then I can just level you up.
Gotcha.
Done.
Okay, so this is where I'm comfortable right here.
Excellent.
Yeah, mine, I'm on a Bluetooth, so sometimes it shifts on my neck and it muffles under my shirt and stuff, so that's usually what part of my problem is. I listened to your the gravity thing yesterday. That was pretty good.
Oh, Ballbusters?
Yes.
Yeah, it's... If you understand what's being talked about, it's easy enough to follow along. If you don't, it's not.
Yeah, I emailed John. I don't know if he said anything, but just to make sure I'm understanding correctly. And yeah, I was thinking, when I was listening to it, I kept thinking, certain phenomenon cannot be proven scientifically. I'm clearing me up on that. Certain things can be, but certain things can't be proven.
Depends what you mean by phenomena. Do you mean a phenomena that's been imagined by a mathematician, or something that you actually see occurring?
Actually seeing occurring, like, I mean, people, as we've always talked on the shows, I can see the skies, the stars rotate, but I can't scientifically prove, other than observation, what's happening. You know what I mean?
Well, what's
Other than
happening
the
is
stars-
that the stars would be rotating, and like you say, it's establishing the cause, isn't it?
Right.
All well and good to have a phenomena.
Right. And I was obviously listening to Globebusters this morning, since I didn't get a chance to listen to it yesterday. The word experiment did come up in what they were talking about. I was like, wish I could have jumped in on the chat and asked the question.
And they was throwing that word experiment around like it was like it was feeding time at the really rolling with it.
Yep.
You would think though that at this point in time they would have stopped doing that. Why? I don't understand why they're. It seems like they're doing it more than ever.
Like I said, Bob's probably doubling down, sticking his heels in the sand.
Yeah.
I mean, I still like the show. I mean, it's good to hear Robbie kind of apologize for what happened with Logan Paul, and I think overall they're trying to do what we're trying to do, but just not in the same way.
I think though my personal opinion on that is.
Hold on.
That's okay. My personal opinion is that they're going the wrong way with that, because now what they're doing is that they've made their own decision that Logan Paul was attacking him. See, he never came out and said anything. They just made that decision. Now they're going after him like you got somebody that some 14-year-old girl and you didn't sign off on her and we're going to try to get you in trouble. See, when you do stuff like that, now you're creating a problem based on what you think he did. And see, and that's not right because they'll say in one breath that, oh well, his movie really helped us because there's people that's trying to contact and get in touch. In the very next statement, yeah, but he punked us, so I'm going to go after him and try to get the parents to file a lawsuit. See, that kind of stuff that's not right. You know, you can't have one opinion on one hand and in the very next breath have another. Either the man helped you or he hurt you. You can't keep on mixing it together.
And that's one reason I've still not watched the video. And I just from hearing you guys describe it, it makes me not want to care. You know, I'll watch it maybe just for information purposes only. But I mean, all I've ever gotten from anybody mainstream is ridicule and laughing and telling me I'm not right. So no matter what I say, unless they're fully on board, or at least truly willing to question it, hard for me to give anybody the time of day. So as soon as they went mainstream and the mainstream media got involved, you know they're gonna only push the standard narrative. That's all they're gonna do.
Right. But and see the problem. And the problem that they're having is. Sorry.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm going to say the problem that they're having is they're trying to steer the mainstream. In other words, you don't try to do that. Just put your message out there and let it make its own way. You can't control it. In other words, they want to control Logan Paul. They want Logan Paul to do what they want Logan Paul to do. Logan Paul is his own person. You can't force him to do what you want him to do, and that's what they're doing. And because he didn't do exactly what they wanted, now they're tearing him down all over flat earth, and now all of a sudden they're forcing him. They want to do lawsuits. See, that's not right. You're trying to force somebody's hand and act like you're the one that's correct in the process. No, Robbie Davidson, all of them, Patricia Steele, everybody that's out there, Globebusters, that Jaron and all those guys that's knocking this guy, you're doing this the wrong way. You don't do that. You haven't given anything a chance. The man has so many subscribers, it's absolutely ridiculous. You don't know how many over the next 5 or 6 months that's going to come along and you're going to benefit from this. But you're sticking your foot in your mouth way before anything ever happens. Robbie Davidson is going all over the place on record, talking for hours about the mistake. Oh, I made a big mistake. It was a big mistake. You don't know what was a mistake yet. Sit back and wait and stop trying to do so much damage control. Sorry about that. I got a little heated.
That's fair enough, Slick. I mean, I know from the start you've said this is good news. He's exposing it to his subscribers. He's not necessarily damning of it. And when we've discussed it, I think it was Eben Kim that pointed out that, I think it was to Brenda, that she claimed that it was a flat earther going mad and getting violent, and then Eben was like, well, actually he turned out to have been just joking and is actually a globe head at the end. So yeah, this has got some twists that you don't really think about on a surface level, and it may not have been engineered in for us to consider in the way we are, but ultimately speaking, it does make you think, and you can only hope that of the younger audience that he has acquired, that they're going to, see it in a very different light to us. And ultimately speaking, we're of an older generation. All of the people that you just listed that have been discussing this aren't his audience, right?
Right. And the thing that's unfair that Robbie and these guys are doing is, what they're saying is, Logan Paul, we want you to do things our way, and if you get your head chopped off in the process, we don't care, because all we care about is what we want. See, that's the song they're singing. And they don't realize that.
I hear what you're saying on that, but when I was listening, I try not to interpolate. I try not to impose anything onto somebody what they're saying. And that when I was listening to Robbie, I think he realized that there could have been some damage, and then actually him just going on to the conference and just inviting Logan Paul up and giving him a platform. And I mean, there's some legitimacy to that. It's like Nathan allowing somebody that just kind of even just questioned to come in and have the platform, have his whole platform to do that. And I think that's what Robbie was apologizing for. And honestly, when Alex Jones lost his, when he got banned from YouTube, I don't like Alex Jones at all. I mean, obviously, when I first got into the looking at everything, he's obviously one of the places you go to start listening. The more I listen, I'm like, oh, great, he's just so sensational. It's off the edge. I just want the information. I just want the data. Just please, just don't go off the deep end every time you turn around. But at the same time, when I think the fact that Alex Jones got banned by YouTube, it created to go like, why are they banning him? And it's going to create like they're going to force people to start looking. Like I watched that AMT video. You watched that AMT video? Seen that one?
I
It's
didn't see
on
it,
the
no.
circular. I'll drop it in the chat. Give me just a second. I'll find it here. Or AMTV. That's the name. He said he didn't even look at flat Earth at all. He was just left it. He didn't want to deal with it. He had some people talk to him about it. But when he actually, whoops, and I'm sorry, he started playing in the background. Sorry, I thought, he started going like, well, there might be something to this. The fact that they're starting to ban, starting to try to wipe this like trend and trying to create all this content. I do think that the aspect of Logan Paul will create a curiosity, force people to look a little deeper, and hopefully they'll come across good content and along the way. But I do think there's that benefit of it. But at the same time, there's that duality. I wouldn't want somebody to try to speak for me that's not truly on my side or understands my perspective. I mean, just to give them a platform to do that, I don't think so. And I think Nathan would agree. Hopefully, I think Nathan would agree with that.
It depends on your platform. Obviously, my platform is entirely for that. So obviously, I'm going to disagree in the regards to this debate because I often, if not always, offer the platform to anybody who wants to have it, right? So anybody can join and spout their nonsense about what they think gyroscopes do and the 15 degrees an hour and all that sort of stuff. Well, we get that. So that's essentially what you're saying I should disagree with. But on that particular platform, it's a specifically flat Earth platform. So for somebody that doesn't represent that, to have the platform is a different story. But that's not my platform. And to be perfectly honest, woe betide anybody that tells me what to do with my platform. And same goes for Robbie. He invites people to join that platform. And if they choose to, they can. And if they choose not to, they don't have to. But he is ultimately responsible for that platform.
And you know what, too? I think, now this is just my personal opinion, and other people may feel differently, but I think Logan Paul getting on that stage and doing what he did was the best part of the movie because that sent such a strong message. See, when he did that. But that's the one part that they wish they didn't have, and that's the best part, in my opinion.
Hello, the plane tree.
Hello, what out?
How you doing?
Good.
Nice. Long time no see.
We're still talking about the Logan Paul video still, and all the drama it's creating on Globebusters and Patricia Steer and all that stuff. You've not been listening.
And then think about this too here. Now think about how Logan Paul, let's just imagine for a second that Logan Paul really had good intentions. Imagine how he feels now. Imagine how he feels about the people he put his trust in. The second something happens they disagree with, they're ready to throw him to the alligators. Imagine how that's making him feel if his intentions are in the right place. See, they're just making a judgment call. They don't know what's in his head. They didn't go to Logan Paul and say, hey, did you do a hit piece? They're just dumping on him. See what I'm saying? So that's in my position. If I was Logan Paul, I would maybe try to do some damage now since that's how you want to act about it. I wouldn't blame him if he did.
Not to do just to use the good old cliche though. On the other side of the coin, they say the road to hell is paved with good intentions, and I think, yeah, I hear your point, and I do see the potential benefit of the videos. I do see the potential benefit of behind the curve because it's at least bringing more awareness. It's bringing more information out there, getting people to question more, getting people to engage more. But at the same time, I would just have a hard time. I mean, I understand, like Nathan said, this is a debate format, so obviously you're going to have to let somebody get their point across. But when you're just giving out content, you know, when you're trying to push something, I think that's a different kind of thing. And I think the Flat Earth Conference is pushing out content. So I don't know. We can, I don't know.
I wouldn't compare those two together though. Don't compare behind the curve with what Logan did, because that's two different scenarios. And behind the curve, that was definitely a purposeful hit piece. Anybody could see that. So you don't want to lump those two together like they come from the same basket, because that's not the case.
Well, I guess that's back to me. I guess I wanted to make time to watch both videos and make my own determination. I'm just looking from the outside in, so going from what the commentary's about.
And then the other thing here that's really weird is now everybody acting like Logan Paul is the bad guy, but that Behind the Curve movie and the mistakes that the flat earthers made in it. See what I'm saying? See, you're faulting Logan Paul for what he did, but how about taking some responsibility for what they did? See, nobody asked them to do what they did. They did it on their own. They put themselves in a position to be played and got played. That wasn't Logan Paul's fault. So how come they can blame Logan Paul for making a mistake, but they can't take responsibility for their own mistakes? See, they can hand out all of this blame, but when it comes to accepting their own blame, can't do it. All they do is go into damage control after damage control. Oh, they told me that they were going to do such and such, and they lied. Oh, no, you messed up in the first place because you were doing something you had no business. This gyroscope nonsense never made any sense to begin with. The whole idea was dumb, and they should have known that. So at least what Logan Paul is doing, this guy is just fresh in the game. What Bob Nodell, Jaron, and all those guys did, they knew what they were doing. They've been in the game long enough to know that you're not doing anything of any value. The only thing you can do is harm yourself, and that is exactly what they did, but they can't take responsibility. They want to blame it on the crew. It's not the crew's fault. It's your fault. You shouldn't have put yourself in that position not knowing what you're doing. Sorry about that. I'm a little heated today. I just got off Discord with a whole bunch of Globers, so that's got me all hyped up. Everybody still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I've decided to start attacking the clothes I've just folded. So I got sidetracked.
What's going on, Owen?
I
Hello?
don't want to hog them.
Hello? I think Arwen's got sound problems. Just a guess.
He was on he had just popped up in you, and then he just.
Hello, can you hear us this time, Arwen? Well, we can't hear you.
Crap, sorry.
No, we can hear you now.
Yeah, I put myself on mute.
Can you go back in the Hangout if you can actually join? Because it's
No,
much
but
more...
it doesn't work because I can't hear anyone else.
Sure? Far more stressful to me to maintain two things, Skype and... I don't mind doing it if I have to, but...
Well, otherwise I'm going to be completely useless because on the Google panel I just can't hear anyone.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Stay on Skype.
All right. I'll try to shut up as much as I can.
No, it's fine. It's not because I want you to shut up.
Oh, really?
No, seriously, it's not because I want you to shut up. It's just because it's two things to monitor. Well, it's about 10 things to monitor in total, but yeah. We'll start shortly. Hey, Ranty. Hey, Flat on Earth.
Hiya. No, the favourite part of my day is when you say,
Morning.
"Shut up, Arwin! Shut up, Arwin!"
No, it's only because Arwin's keen and knows where I'm going with something, then he wants to jump in, and it's like he tastes the blood too. That's all that is. Like
Well, maybe
rubbing-
you should let him have a little bit of the blood sometime. You know,
Yeah,
let him have.
fair enough.
I'll let him have a few morsels.
Fair enough.
That would be one critical thing I would say about the group sometimes. There is only a handful of people that usually dominate everything. Nathan has the right, it's his channel. But sometimes others don't let others get a word in sometimes.
Well, I know. I pretty much feel like I'm a war dog on a leash constantly. Yeah, but I will be freaking barking.
Unleash the Craggle.
The what?
You know it's in a Lego movie?
No, sorry.
Never mind.
He doesn't have kids probably, so he will one day if he has kids. He'll understand the crackle.
What about Release the Kraken?
Yeah, I get that one. Definitely.
It's a spin on that.
Yeah, I hear the Lego movies are really good. I've seen glimpses of it, and they basically dizzied me out with their hyperactivity, and then I thought, I'm too old for this world.
Yeah, it is a bit, what's the word? Fit-inducing.
So if I sound
You mean
a little hype, you
epileptic?
gotta understand.
Yeah, epilepsy-inducing. That was the word I was looking for.
Right. Yeah.
I wanted to say if I sound a little hyped, I've just spent about 4 or 5 hours on Discord with a bunch of Glovers, so you can imagine what that was like.
Yeah.
And not only that, Dr. Grimm's was one of the crew.
You know, I was just thinking maybe the way it is sometimes like me, I'm more of the kind of person that I go in easily, go in stealthily, try to move in and wiggle my way in and then try to disrupt it. I feel like Nathan and Erwin are kind of like nuclear blast. They come in and just destroy everything in their sight, in their path.
What? Yeah. I had a pretty good session on the early bird show today as well. Daniel kept on asking questions, and I had Simon Dan trying to seriously asking me, "What are your credentials?"
Well, do you not read between the lines with that? How much should I allow myself to appeal to your authority? That's what I read that to mean.
Yeah, that's exactly how I read it as well. Yeah, that's very elegantly put. It just pisses me off because I was getting really into the matter, and I kind of like that about Daniel is that guy's like a hyperactive Glober nerd, but he really does know how to ask questions, even though he's extremely stubborn. And I kind of like that because it gives me good material to work with. But Simon Dan just goes onto appeal to authority and the peer pressure shit. That just annoys me. But it was a good show.
What show would that be, Arwin? What show would that be?
The Flat Earth Early Bird Show.
And where could we find such a show?
On my channel, Arwin, ARWIJN. And I have the Flat Earth Early Bird Show every day, 1 o'clock London time, 2 o'clock Amsterdam time, roughly an hour before the Flat Earth debates start. And in the weekend as well, by the way. Usually have a little bit longer show in the hopes that people will join my panel, and doesn't always happen though. But yeah, do come and visit my show every day. I do it every day.
Hey Nathan, I wanted to tell you too, because I was talking to Jose, and he said that sometimes when he starts his show, he doesn't mean it to conflict with yours. It's just that he's trying to work it around work. So he kind of wanted you to know he's not trying to compete.
Couldn't give a crap. I don't care. So when Arwin came to me recently, well, I say recently, about a month ago, I appreciate you telling me. Thank you, Slick. But yeah, I said to Arwin, he was like, "Oh, you've started an hour early." And it was like today, it was a Monday, and all I've done since is dropped the first show if I can't do it. So my wife was home today, and just haven't got time to do an earlier show, so I'm just going to do one live show. But Arwin said, "Well, sorry to talk while you're here, Owen. He was basically explaining that, oh, well, we've got a conflict that they're on at the same time. And I was like, who cares? There's so much content out there. The fact that there's a couple of live shows on there is a testament to how many people are making videos on this subject. So don't worry about conflicting. You'll always conflict with something. It doesn't matter what you're going to actually conflict with. If it's in the same arena, then that's just unfortunate. You know, by the same token, I do care about conflicting. Can't believe I have a super chat. I'm not even live yet. Shout out to Awaken Truth for the super chat before I'm live. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Just, you know, your audience, if they're going to watch, they may not watch live if they're watching something else. They may flick between yours and the other show and increase your viewing numbers because they've come in, watched 15 minutes, gone to another show, watched for 10 minutes, come back to yours for another 15. In other words, you might actually get more views out of it. So it just really, you shouldn't concern yourself if you're conflicting with other people, in my opinion.
I don't either, really.
Some people take it really personally. Me, I'm like, it's YouTube, man. There's thousands of channels live, right? Who cares? There's only so many hours in the day.
I'm just a little annoyed that Jose seems to try to abuse my channel to advertise for his.
That's just dirty, though, isn't it?
Whining and complaining, oh, I censor him, I'm censoring him, and then he advertises for his channel, like in the middle of my hangout. That really pisses me off.
But that's just dirty.
Yeah, it is.
It's dirty. You know, I mean...
But seriously, it was during the freaking New Zealand shooting shit, and Reese was all upset about it, like sharing a heartfelt moment, how he felt about it. It was like that same day. And then Jose came in and advertised, oh yeah, my show is going live right now. Like, holy shit, dude. Talk about insensitive. The fuck?
Yeah, but it's a balance, isn't it? If you're doing an interview, for example, and towards the beginning you plug your show, and then towards the end you plug your channel and your show, you know, that's reasonable. If it comes up in conversation during the interview, then you can obviously talk about what happened on your show, and then it's contextual rather than you overtly in the middle of a conversation, nothing to do with that, going, hey, I'm going live. You're like, well, that's dirty. You know, most people frown on that.
Yeah, I do. I absolutely frown on that.
Or doing it in the chat. You know, if someone comes into someone else's live show and says in their chat, I'm going live. Now, I know when I do this, but I know full well it's cheeky. Ranty does it in my chat, but he'll normally, like it's an excuse, strap on a little line at the end to acknowledge that he knows it's cheeky. And in which case, you go, you little bastard. But you let him.
Right. Yeah, and you're allowed to do that in my show. That's why I gave you the wrench even.
Sure, but you keep it to a minimum, and there's an unspoken rule between you and I that I'm not just going to just come into your chat to say, hey, I'm going live in a minute, and then sod off, right? That's just rude.
Well, if you ran out of time, then that would be fine by me. I know how busy you get preparing shit. So I wouldn't mind if you did that, but yeah, you're always part of the chat when you come and visit, so I appreciate that.
That said, I let Jose do that in the chat. You know, when he spams his chat feed, sometimes I'll approve it. If I'm not watching, I probably wouldn't. But you know what I mean? I'm not going to go out of my way to remove him spamming about his show. It's like, well, you need as much help. I encourage other YouTubers. You know, if he's just going to abuse that, that's his bag. People will look down their nose at that. But for me, it's like, well, no, I want him to do well as a YouTuber. Great. Or more power to you, Jose. Hopefully you get a bit more control of your show. You know, but that takes time. No, I'm not saying that in a derogatory way. I'm saying that takes time. You know, it's not like I started a debate show and suddenly had complete control of the show and how to run it and the people who join the panel. That doesn't come instantly, unfortunately. You know, so it's going to take a bit of time.
I think Jose is deliberately kind of trying a early debate setup. He even says it. Like the debates was in the beginning when, Nathan really didn't have control and there weren't so many flat earthers and there wasn't housekeeping. And that's what he's done. And so now there's like this baller circle jerk hangout now. It's Jose's.
Hey, I want to tell
you,
and it
is kind of amusing though.
You
have like
before the show starts,
the Rumpus and Curved Water and Tommy and George Netanuk all at the same time in the panel, circle jerking around and scoffing on flat earthers. It is kind of interesting to see that.
I wanted to say if I cut out a few minutes early before your show, somebody challenged me. So when I get the message, I might disappear from you. So I just want to, I don't want to interrupt and say something. I want to say it now. So in case I
That's
disappear
okay.
10 or
hear 15
any
minutes.
of that.
You didn't hear
No.
any of that, Travis?
His volume is really low. Slick, your volume is really low.
I couldn't hear any of that.
Did you hear what I said, though, Nathan?
Are you having issues with the Hangout system as well?
Well, that's encouraging.
Yeah, I think
you
it
hear-
has to do with Google
Excuse
on
me.
purpose letting it break down. Remember,
Maybe.
they were gonna take away the Hangout system. Was even
Nathan, did you
announced,
hear
so
me?
maybe this is just the preliminary stages of it completely breaking down and becoming useless. They're not
Nathan, did
fixing
you
the
get a
bugs anymore.
Sorry, go on, Sleep.
Nathan, did you get a chance to hear? Did you get a chance to hear what I said?
I heard you perfectly. You leveled up beautifully.
Okay.
You're dancing along the same level as my mic and Arwen's mic. But if
Okay.
Travis can't hear you, I don't know.
Okay.
We're going to start in 60 seconds either way, so hopefully
All right.
Travis
Just
can
in
hear
case
you.
I drop out on you, I got an appointment.
No worries.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can
30
hear him, but
seconds.
his volume's really low.
Slick's volume's low to you.
Yes, it's more like normally I hear him pretty good, like I hear you. But right now it's like about half of what your volume typically is.
How about this right here?
Oh, it
That
all
better?
seems fine to me.
Yeah, that seems better.
Okay.
All seems good. Right, let's do this.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you have not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate forum. And if you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon, and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Arwen, The Plain Truth, Slick James Johnson, Ranty Flat Earth, Paul, and Flatten Earth. Good to have you all.
Good day, good day.
Good morning to you.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Wow, that's a robot voice.
Yeah, that was
Darling.
Travis. So I think we figured out what the problem with Travis is. He's going to hopefully drop and rejoin. Good to have you one and all. Any signs of curvature over the beautiful weekend we had?
Signs like a road sign. This way to curvature.
Hello,
That way to curvature.
That would be helpful, Randy. Certainly.
Is
Curvature
there
this
any
way.
place in the world that is actually called curvature? Any village or something?
The village of curvature. It's supposed to be everywhere, Arwen. So,
My
you
mic
know.
better now?
No, but just as a
Yes, we
name
can.
for a
Hold
village.
on 1 second, Arwen. Yeah, we hear you now, Travis. Can you just say a couple more things?
Hello, what ho?
Hello.
What?
Well, maybe you can fill us in, Travis. Any signs of curvature?
Nope. Hey, no. I went out last night to my Chesapeake Bay with two friends, and we had 5.8 miles, and we had shore-to-shore visual contact 2 inches off the water, both sides, 2 inches off the water, with the flashlight on my iPhone. 6 miles.
Excellent. Have you got it on your channel?
I was going to say, can we see it?
I was gonna work on it this morning, but I got called into work early, so it's gonna have to wait till tonight. No signs, absolutely no signs of curvature whatsoever.
Okay, Earth-based curvature generally, not the village of curvature. Don't want any comments about villages called curvature. Thank you very much, and all the same. Any signs of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety, as Ranty's here?
No axial rotation.
Can't help you, Nathan.
Yeah, I've got to point this out. P-Brain, right? Ranty's here to do that for you. At Nathan Oakley, yes, I see curvature, my lovely wife, blah, blah, blah. Earth-based curvature. It's supposed to be from everywhere. That's what we're talking about. I don't have to expect to do it to the chat as well as Ranty. Anyway, any scientific evidence of gravity?
Scientific evidence of what?
Nothing.
Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
No distance to the sun, Nathan. Absolutely no distance to the sun.
There
Sorry.
is no distance to the sun.
Just want to note that during that question about gravity, our inside did make it through to the audience.
Yeah. It's not the end of it, though. It seems to be scientifically particularly hard to get a grasp on it. So it is going to stay in the realm of pseudoscience for some time to come.
A lot of people are having conversations about it, and they just really can't. They don't really understand it, but they can't let it go either. So that's the kind of story I'm getting. They have no idea what it's about, but they just gotta have it. And it's weird.
Yeah, well, that's because it works so well for them structurally, as a concept, mathematically. But yeah, they can't have their scientific evidence, so they just have to make it up. That's how they got here in the first place.
Hey, when they asking me about it, they ask me what the cause is. I keep telling them, I said the cause is belief, because that's the only way it works is with belief. Once you get rid of that, it'll cease to exist. So there's your cause, because they don't know the cause. When you ask them what is the cause of mass attracting mass, the cause is belief.
That's funny, because belief is man-made.
But that is true, because all they have is a belief. They believe that mass attracts mass. That's all they got. They don't know anything else. It's just a belief. Take that belief away and suddenly mass doesn't attract anything.
Okay, any evidence that you can have a gas pressure without a container?
No.
Oh, I had a whole discussion about that. On my hangout, definitely not.
Conspiracy cats is supposed to be...
Assumed gravity is not strong enough to prevent the atmosphere from escaping into the wide outer space vacuum without some kind of a barrier. So,
it's all a belief. The whole thing is just one big belief, just all lumped together.
right. But it's so funny because even within their presuppositional system of gravity and how it supposedly works, it doesn't work. It's not strong enough. It's considered a weak force, opposing the force of entropy, the need for gas pressure to expand within the container, which is considered a strong force. And it's not strong enough, conceptually, not even strong enough to prevent the gas from escaping. So it's really sad. Because in their own theory, it doesn't work, and yet they ignore it.
That's why they top it off with belief to get it over the edge. That just seals it for them. So if you throw the belief in there, now you got something.
I always thought it was...
Sorry, go on, Paul.
Sorry.
Say any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the center of a presupposed spherical Earth?
More
Sounds
belief.
delicious.
Sounds delicious. It's not a recipe.
When they dug the Kohler borehole, they even got that wrong at 8 miles. So what chance have they got of getting anything right down at the center?
I don't know. Every time Nathan says it, it reminds me of like a chocolate ball with like some kind of filling.
Oh,
It's like the Wizard of Oz. You know how in the Wizard of Oz, Oz was this really big thing until you went and pulled back the curtain and found out it was nothing. That's what all this stuff is, like the rotation and the molten iron core and vacuum and all that. That's all it is. Once you pull back that curtain, you find there's nothing there.
I'm going to add to that. Sorry, I'm going to add to that analogy because it gets worse, right? So I would say that Cavendish balls, in the case of obviously Cavendish Newtonian gravity, is the pulling back of the curtain. So you pull back the curtain. Hello, P. Won't keep you.
Hello.
You pull back the. Oh my God, monster joining us. You pull back the curtain and you see the Cavendish balls, right? And you go, "Ah, what a joke! Look at that! You claim that can weigh the Earth." But then it continues. Even with the curtain pulled back, they still keep arguing. Oh yeah, this can definitely weigh Earth. So it's worse.
Speaking of the Wizard of Oz, it's like believing that the Scarecrow ever had a revolver in his hand.
Oh God, here we go. Right, any evidence of the R value, Earth radius, gentlemen?
R. Oh.
R. No.
More curtain.
I deny all science.
So
I'm actually
what
waiting.
science?
You would
Big
need
roll
to
of
if you want to
fire.
believe in glow.
Come here. I'm sorry, Erwin. I said I'm still waiting for my ball of twine to come in so I can measure it. It hasn't got here yet.
That's it. That concludes the housekeeping.
Excellent.
Hey, anybody know what's up with Timmy Osmond? This guy he actually made a show about me, right? Now, I've been looking for him in Channel Q because she kind of had a big mouth in the chat, right? I've been looking all over for them. Do you know I can't find them anywhere? They won't answer anything. I'm all in Timmy's comment section. Tim, what is with this guy? He's got all this mouth, but when it comes time for action, he runs. What's up with him?
He's just a little bitch. He does it to everybody. If you look at his channel, all his titles have some flat earther or globe earther's name in. He's just trying to swing on people's balls, basically.
Hello, Anon.
I think he actually believes in the scientific indoctrination.
Hey, Chocolate.
It's been so long since I was driving a truck while I was on the show. Hear that?
Yes, Travis, we heard. Many happy returns. It's really great to know.
Mike Chuck.
Yeah, hey, Chocolate. Can you hear us, Anon?
Good morning, everybody.
I can.
Good to have you.
I can hear you guys loud and clear.
Excellent.
I gotta give a shout out to Anthony Riley for hooking me up with a desktop that's got enough power in it so that I can do OBS now because my laptop was just tanking whenever I tried to stream with OBS. So shout out to Sleeping.
Yeah, maybe next Friday sometime, Travis, I think. Something like that.
Sorry, next Friday, what?
Exactly, yeah. It's very, very difficult to hear what you're saying.
Oh.
I heard shout out to somebody, though. I'm sure they're really appreciative of it. So I noticed you in Tim Osmond's comment section, Slick. So, I mean, my answer would maybe be that if you're looking for his attention, you've got it.
Yeah, and you know what it is? I get a lot of replies from his crew. I mean, they're all over the place, but I can't find him anywhere. So I just battle with those guys over and over again. They just got the same old story.
But it's worth engaging with. You know, Tim's upped his game. He's not just some crappy troll anymore. You know, he has genuinely made strides. I can't remember which show I watched about it. It might have been the one this morning about Robbie Davidson. I have to excuse my monster being very noisy today. But yeah, the show he was talking about Robbie, I think he was basically explaining, sort of being critical of Dread and saying, you know, you could up your powers of language a little bit. You think, oh, right, yeah, well, fair enough, Tim, you know, as you have genuinely upped your game, it's kind of fair enough to call others out on that if that's what you've taken strides to do yourself, and I'd probably agree with him, you know. Tim's a lot more tolerable than he used to be back in the day when he was just doxing people and porn bombing people, namely me. Just in case Tim ever claims he's not porn bomb anybody. Yeah, he has. Me. He just likes to forget about that when he claims he hasn't bombed anybody. He has. He knows he has. I know he has. Just funny when he says it on his live audience and lies to his audience. Anyway.
And you know, to be honest with you, listening to the guy, he is really good at what he does because he's very well spoken. You know, so even though the stuff that he's talking is the kind of stuff that gets under your skin, he's interesting to listen to. I think he could be an interesting guy because it's just funny listening to him. Because he can, I mean, this guy control you to death. He can really talk about you. That's what I mean. The guy can just, for hours, he can just nonstop.
He's a spin doctor.
Hilarious.
Spin doctor.
Perfect name.
You know who else is funny? And you familiar with this guy named Rory?
No, although someone dropped a link to one of his videos, so I clicked on it as I do to check if it's needs approving or is something it shouldn't be, and I end up on this Rory dude's channel. I'm like, I wonder what this dude's bag is, and I'm like, holy shit, there's loads of videos about me. I'm like, fucking hell, this guy's really creepy.
This is what he does. He does these evaluations. In other words, anybody who doesn't think like him, he's got this evaluation form. And I even, I wrote back to him. I said, man, you are really into yourself, aren't you? I said, you really think that you have the ability to diagnose anybody who's different than you are. And, he was proud of it. In other words, he's not shy about it at all. I told him he's really into himself, and he's like, thank you.
Well, Good Times for All, otherwise known as Zachary Zabala, excellent, fantastic, superb YouTuber who you should all be subscribed to. GUDTIMS4ALL. Good Times for All, or Good Tims for All is how it's spelled, but either way, Zachary Zabala was in Arwin's chat. Did you notice this, Arwin? Saying that he'd claimed this £5,000 or something that he'd got a bet with Rory. I didn't quite get the long and short of what it was about, but ultimately he was basically, Zach's not the kind of guy to go around saying someone owes him £5,000 unless it's actually the case. And he was discussing with Sleeping Warrior about some message thread. I didn't get to the bottom of it, obviously, in your chat thread, Arwin, but it was just interesting to read about it. Obviously, this guy's now come on my radar, having checked out the fact that he's got a slight obsession with me.
Sorry, I that slipped my attention during the show.
Is he in the chat? It's Good Times for All around. But Adam, it's only Monday, isn't it? You may not get a chance to speak about this, but I'm sure it'll come up on your show on Friday if Zach doesn't speak to us or go on air or talk about himself in Crotchet's Corner. But yeah, we shall see. Yeah, there we go. There he is. Hey, Zach. Let us know from the chat or feel free to join if you want to indulge us.
How about this? Am I okay now?
Perfect. Much better.
All right, so I gave a shout out to Anthony Riley because he hooked me up with a new desktop that's got enough juice in it so that I can stream OBS, because the last time I did, my laptop was just tanking. So he jumped in and saved the day. So shout out to Sleeping Warrior. Yeah,
massive shout out to Anthony Riley, or Sleeping Warrior's YouTuber channel, Sleeping Warrior, as he's literally decking out Flat Earth with better and better equipment, upping our technical game at every opportunity. So that's good to hear, Travis.
Did he mail you a computer?
No, he just gave me the specs to look for, and I found repairs and upgrades and whatnot. So.
Yeah, generally speaking, what he's been doing, P, is sort of gathering up a few quid from whoever comes to him and says, oh, my PC's not good enough to do OBS. And then he looks at their specs and goes, yeah, it isn't. And then suggests what they should go out and buy secondhand. And, or if it's the case that they aren't at all technical savvy and can't upgrade a piece of RAM or whatever, needs upgrading in a secondhand PC, he'll do it for them. So he's been out and about doing exactly that with, putting a few quid, a few dollars into making people's streams better without them having to spend maybe $2,000 on a brand new PC that's not necessarily going to, be required to just stream nicely. Yeah, so big shout out to Sleeping Warrior. Doing some good work.
And then earlier, I think I was robotic when I gave you guys a toot on the horn because I haven't been in my truck lately.
Beep, beep.
Hey, I want to put a message out there. When are Globe people going to get to the... I'm sorry, go ahead.
When are Globe people going to get to the what?
No, I said, when are Globe people going to get to the point that they can have a conversation without 5 of them at once? For some reason, I've been on the phone with these guys for hours, and they just cannot talk one at a time. I mean, it is totally out of there. I just don't understand that. You mean to tell me that you can't just hold on and let somebody have a conversation? They can't do it. Can't. Does anybody have any rhyme or reason why that is?
Yeah, because they're very, very angry about us exposing their religion. And that's annoying to people who have a fundamentalist belief in anything, right?
Well, it's been talking to Rumpus, so...
Rumpus by name.
Rumpus can't listen to anyone. He has to be the one talking at all times.
George Nathanhook, though, he's rough too. You put them two together and add in a little Lori, got something going there.
Isn't George the guy that called, what's his name's boss? Or...
Yep, that George. That's right.
Yeah,
George Nathanhook.
He felt
watch
that
out
he
with
had
George.
the,
That's a sneaky little snake in the grass.
No,
he felt he had the authority.
Hey, Eben, I don't know if you got to hear the introduction for you. I did say hello. How you doing?
Hi, yeah. Good, how are you guys?
Just before anybody else says anything, can you give your channel a plug, Eben?
I've actually never had like I never plugged my channel before. That's weird.
Just say your name, bro.
Just tell us the channel name and just tell us like some of the content that you put out.
It's just Bon Kim. Lately I've just been doing a lot of flat earth stuff, but it's not really I'm taking a new approach. It's more globe earth declarations. Just going by that side and just looking into it, mainstream sources, whether it's through .gov or NASA or physics sites or whatever. And I came a long ways from doing other stuff, politics, going down rabbit holes, and just talking about anything really. And then I've recently been attacked by some globe earth agent trolls. And what's funny is when you look at their sites and their YouTube channels, that's all they do is just globe earth. That's it. And I just find that interesting because...
Hold on one second. Sorry to interrupt. Hey, Sammy, how you doing? You hear us, Sammy? Nope. Sorry, I'm just going to round out your plug properly. So it's EBONKIM. So EBON space KIM. That's Eben Kim's YouTube channel. And the reason I plug it is because I've been watching it. So I enjoy watching your stuff. So there's no reason why you shouldn't be plugging your channel here. It's a good channel. Hey, thanks. Billy. Hello, Warren, rather.
Hi, Nathan.
Good to have you.
Good to be here.
They got you presented, Ranty.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, I took this video. I don't think I've showed this yet because I took it when I've been doing all my work, so I've not had time to show it yet. So essentially, I'm right next to the water. I'm looking over at Barrow and Furnace, and in a moment, I'm going to show you what this is me lying down, and I've got my knees in, well, my elbows in the sand, and I'm looking over at 18.22 miles away at the buildings of Barrow. And essentially my camera, I'd say, is about a foot above sea level right now. And of course, you're going to see the buildings. It's not a problem. The only thing that does obscure them at times is the height of the small waves. And I will call them small waves because they're not that big, maybe 8 or 10 inches in height. But look how they block things out in the distance. But those buildings are still visible, which is the good thing. And it's just You can't have flat water in the globe model. You just can't have it. Let me just get it to where it's focused. See. So yeah, so obviously we're seeing these buildings behind. The waves are obscuring them, and it was absolutely bitter actually because it was at the end of November when I took this. And yeah, 18.22 miles away, Nathan. What do you say to that?
Are you going to go back and do this with your PM1000?
This was with the P1000.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't. Because my kid's making so much noise in the background, I can hardly hear what's being said. Okay, so this is essentially a replication of last year's observation, 18 miles plus, but P1000 off the beach.
That's right, yeah. The previous video, I'm actually sort of like holding it around about 3 feet, so you actually see it much better than that. But this was just the lowest point that I actually got to. I'll show you. I'll actually show you the previous video in a second. I'll just show you. That's where my elbows were in the sand. And I actually turned the camera around on me and show you.
You're covered in it. The thing to do for flat Earth, drenched. Right? Nice colour choice.
So yeah, so I got absolutely drenched, and it was, as I say, it was absolutely freezing. But that's the things you do, isn't it, to try and get this sort of stuff. So obviously, I filmed where I'm looking over at BL098. This is the previous video, and I think I'm holding the camera. I think I kneel down, so I get down to about. Let's see what I do actually. Looks like I'm holding it at. Come on. So I'm holding it at chest height, so it'll be about 4.5 feet above sea level. And this is obviously, again, 18.22 miles away. And you're going to see the buildings of Barrow when I zoom in again. There we go. P1000 footage this time. There we go. Look at those buildings over there. Shouldn't see any of them. They're just a mirage, Nathan.
Ace.
What's your observer height?
It's about 4.5 feet right now from here. 18.22 miles away. Just a nice observation. And if you notice, the tide's actually coming in. So we've actually got, you know, that artificial height of the ocean at this time as well, pushing in on it. So, yeah, it's all good.
Are you going to get a tripod, Ranty?
Yes. In fact, I do have one. I didn't have one at this time, though. This was back at the end of November.
Just after you got the P1000, right?
Yeah. In fact, actually, I was lower than that. I was probably around about 4.5 because I was kneeling down right then. So, yeah, I do have a tripod. Have you not seen the video, the 1-hour video that I released a couple of days ago, showing all the scenery of Scotland?
No, not yet. I'll have a look.
Well,
that's going to become the backdrops for the debates. I just haven't got around to doing it yet, so I'm going to download it in a lower resolution so it can just not slow the Hangout down and just go out as like background pictures. But it's lovely, Ranty. Really, really well done.
No worries. It was something, like I say, something that I did at the end of November. But as you know, I've been working flat out. I've not had a single time to come and actually present any of this stuff. But I'm still actually going out and doing the observations.
Yeah, you're moving house and all, aren't you?
I am. A week and a half. So next, I think the contract's exchanging this week. And we're actually going to be moving in on the Saturday. So next Saturday. So it's all good. And I'll be nearer to do these observations as well. So it'll be easier for me to get down and do this.
Cool. Excellent.
Anyway, just thought I'd show you that.
Very nice. Thank you very much indeed. But yeah, so these sunsets and things, good though they are, they've generated a lot of debate because most of the time people are bringing up a subject of something on screen and they just don't appreciate it because they've played through so many times. You know? But yeah, I think some nice, relaxing, tranquil scenes. Why not? I can always put these up again.
Well, I could show some of the videos that I did if you want. If you want to put it in the background, play me, and I'll just leave it running.
Yeah, why not? It'll probably be a higher quality as well if you play it. We'll see. some reason when I play a video through VLC and just share it through the Hangout, I can only share it at really low resolution without it slowing right down.
Okay. Right. Share my screen again.
Why are you doing that? We've got a whole panel full of people. What's
Sure,
going on
yeah.
Flat Earth? You're all presumably watching these videos and you all know what's what. No?
I think in the background there, Ranty, near the top of the mountain, you can actually see the Morgal asking for a new car battery. He needs $120. Please support.
Sorry. Dad.
I don't know anything about that.
You know, one problem I'm having, and I don't know if anybody else has this, but whenever you're talking to Globe people and they'll come up with a subject and you'll go and look it up, you'll find information, but the information that you find when you look it up, it's never consistent. One thing will say one thing and then you can look at something else and it'll say something else. What I don't understand is how can you have a model, but this model has 50 variations to it, depending on who's telling the story. So you might get a piece of information and report on that piece of information and they'll say, well, that's not incorrect. You got to go look at this. Then you go look at that, and then that contradicts the information you had before. That's very frustrating because nobody's on the same page, seems like.
They're writing their own pages.
Like, I'll give you an example. I was online, right? So I'm looking up something, and this thing came up, said that the only thing that exists is mass and energy. Either or. It said everything is either mass or energy. So I said, okay, I'll go with that. And I'm thinking about it. So I'm having a conversation with somebody, and they said, no, that's not the way correct, right? So I went and looked back again somewhere else and found out, no, that's not all the way correct. So it's like, see, you go and think you have some information from a verified source, but that information will conflict with another source. It's like, what do you do? They're just not on the same page. They're not consistent.
I was there, Slick, when you had that conversation. That was also in the back panel with Rumpus and George Nathan Nuke. But they were just like speculating all over the place and trying to find some kind of exception. But they were really just messing around because, yeah, it is correct. Matter and energy.
But actually, there is a little bit more to the story depending on who's telling it. Because when I went back and researched deeper, they are saying another story. Because in the story, it said, well, you'll hear sometimes that the only thing in existence is mass or energy. Well, that's not totally correct. And then they went on to say a whole bunch of other stuff. But see, if you don't have that information, you might be led to believe that that first piece of information was correct. So it's really hard because you just never know what information is going to conflict with other information.
There's always going to be these kind of things. You just have to try to fit together something with the information you have.
Yeah.
One of the things is just looking up information that anyone who would start looking into not just flat Earth, but just looking at the globe Earth model is they'd use Google, they'd look at the top second or third results and just go in there and just take it from that, because no one's going to look through and pick like the 60th result from Google or use DuckDuckGo and go by that.
What, you mean research? Hello, Carlos?
Yeah, just a normal everyday person.
You hear us, Carlos? No, no sound from you, my friend.
I heard a kid.
That's fine.
Nathan, I was looking at your video from yesterday, and there's a lot of comments with people asking you, do you know what diffraction is? Do you know what's all that about?
So, when I was on with Anthony Riley, he had Conspiracy Cats on, and he suggested on the fly that I come on and debate him. And I was like, okay, as Anthony's asking. I went on, and he rumpused the shit out of me. Basically, that's the long and short of it. But the question that he tried to get in, or demand that I give a 10-second answer to was, what is diffraction? I think he asked me what was the diffraction limit, but for some reason that seems to have been lost in translation. You get a lot of parroting people asking what diffraction is, and occasionally, I mean, after about the third time of me just posting a wiki link to diffraction, a few smart asses from our side did the same thing and would be asking similar questions. What's wrong with you? Can't you Google? But in other words, it's at least slightly contextualized if you ask what the diffraction limit is, because it has some relevance to the argument. Obviously, diffraction comes before the diffraction limit, but that's the part that's relevant to us, right? I.e., what is alleged to be the curve of the Earth, being the point that boats go over, we would allege is the diffraction limit that it's disappearing into, i.e., the angular resolution limit. But instead of being asked that, I'm being asked what diffraction is, which is fine, but it just shows me how dumb the audience of Conspiracy Cats is, as he came in and told me he'd made a video specifically about the shit show that was him rumpusing me that was deleted by Anthony. So it's like, okay, fair enough, I don't care. But great, I'll take the views. Thank you very much for coming and commenting. Go Google diffraction if you want to.
it's a completely stupid argument to compare the two, because it's two separate things. Diffraction and the diffraction limit. It's, don't they understand this?
I don't know what they understand. They just asked me one question. The point is that, if you put into quotes something that's damning, like without the container there can be no pressure, there is some sort of contextual nature to it, i.e. it wins our argument. There is no way you can have space. There isn't any containment. There's nothing for the gas pressure to press upon. And that's backed by a Conspiracy Cats quote. Asking me what diffraction is because I didn't get a chance to answer because he rumpus the shit out of me doesn't win any arguments. It's not like anybody who comes completely neutral to a comment, or 50, that say, what is diffraction? Number one, they don't know if that's a globe earther or a flat earther asking the question. What relevance is the question? Does it win any arguments? And if you boil down a bit and go, well, he didn't get an opportunity to answer a question and then left pauses when demanded that he takes 10 seconds to answer it, i.e. me versus Conspiracy Cats. But you go, oh, right, so is this literally just an ad hominem attack? You're claiming this person doesn't know what diffraction is. Well, if that's the case, who cares? Does that win any arguments for the Globers? Isn't he supposed to be defending that argument? What does it win? A point against me personally? Okay, well, you take your point. Okay, I don't know what diffraction is. Okay, take your win. Great, good for you. Yeah, the Earth is obviously unobservably flat. Space is fake. You can't have gas pressure without a container. Those are the kind of things that I would go and quote, because they're devastating to a globalist religion. Asking me what diffraction is? Yeah, okay, that doesn't really win you any arguments now, does it? Yeah. So keep asking. I'll take the views. No worries. Take the engagement. No problem. Keep asking.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to jump off to make room for Good Time Frawley once I get on.
Oh, superb. We'll hear about this £5,000 he's owed. Fantastic. Thank you, Warren.
Come on then, good times.
Only a 2
Hey,
second.
Dave.
Hello.
Hey, it's Carlos. How you doing this morning?
Yeah, we're here now, Carlos. Good to have you.
Hey, I did look up the diffraction last conversation we had. You mentioned it.
Hey, Zach. How you doing? This is going to be an interesting segue, Carlos, because I don't know if this is... No, it's probably an unrelated subject. Maybe we'll get to Zach in a moment. We'll just check if we can hear you, though, Zach. How you doing?
Doing good.
No, Carlos, I just want to see if we can hear our new guest. Bear with me a sec.
Oh, I'm fine. Go ahead.
It's okay, no worries. It's
Hello,
my bad.
everybody. Can you guys hear
Zach.
me?
Good to have you.
Hey, Zach.
Thank you.
Sorry,
hey,
Carlos.
How we doing?
We're doing well. Thank you very much for joining, Zach. I'm hoping to get to you next, but Carlos, you go ahead.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead and go with Zach. That's fine.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm certain.
Oh, well, I'm keen as mustard. Tell us what's going on, Zach, because I read your comments in Arwin's chat and I had no idea really what was going on, but a vague clue from what you said.
Yeah, this all actually started in one of your comment sections, Nathan, or the live chat. Some guy named Rory had said something about, oh, well, I'm offering $5,000 for anybody that can prove that perspective isn't taken into account into the curve calculations. And it obviously is not. I mean, there's nowhere in the actual equation that has anything to do with perspective in it. Nothing at all whatsoever. And that was his claim. So I asked him if he was serious. Said, yeah, absolutely, 100%. I was like, okay, here's the video. I made it about 1.5 years ago. And there you go. I'll leave my PayPal link in my last video. You can put the money in there whenever you're ready. And he's, you know, it took a couple of days, and then I saw him in your chat again. I was like, well, did you check out my video? And he's like, yeah, I stopped after the first minute because you said the horizon rises to your eye level. And I was like, well, that really has nothing to do with what we're talking about at all. It is irrelevant to the conversation. It has nothing to do with the actual equation and taking perspective into account. Nothing.
How long is the video or the section on specifically? I don't know how to phrase this without leading you too much, because I know where perspective is completely excluded from the, let's get the phraseology right, begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking curve calculator. But if you've gone to the trouble of actually challenging this person on it, then where's your video? How long is it? And should we play it right now?
No, it's about, I think, I don't even know, maybe 10 minutes, maybe half hour. It just has to do with the curve calculator having to add on a little bit more because of diffraction and the diffraction limit. You know, the human eye, that would take off much more when you're looking out over the water at something. I mean, 0.02 degrees, even if you do the limit, you can add that up easily, and it does. It starts adding up quite quickly. I think at only 3 miles, it's 6 feet. So it really, it has to do with what we see. And it's nowhere in any calculation on any of their curve calculators. All they do is take away the curve with their refraction, when nowhere do they actually add the little bit that they need to be adding on.
That's
it's
refraction.
Never taken into account.
That's refraction, though. They're flat. I know what you're saying. Your point is they're flattening it out. Yes, they absolutely are, but they're flattening it out with refraction, a claimed curving of the air. I use the terms loosely. I know it's not curving; it's diffracting through many multiple layers, but that's not relevant. The point is that that's an effect of the light and how the light travels through the air, if you want to look at it in simplistic terms. But diffraction limit has absolutely sod all to do with that. You know, it's the limit of how far you can see based on how small something is and where it will disappear into the distance. So the diffraction limit, if you're looking over water like Ranty does, presents itself as the horizon. That is the diffraction limit. Well, that's not accounted for in the curve calculator. What's the title of the video, Zach? I've got your channel up now.
It's in my perspective playlist. It is Why the Curve Calculator Just Found More Curve. Because this is
perspective and how our eyes work. Is that what the playlist?
Yeah.
Okay, perspective and how our eyes work. Okay, and it's called. Say that one more time.
What did I say now?
Why we see what we see, angular resolution and perspective.
No, not that one. Oh, the curve calculator just found more curve. It'll just be me sitting there on the thumb. It's just me talking the whole time. I'm not sure how long it is.
Could someone post your channel link again?
Sorry, what was that? Even I'm trying to find it in this playlist. I will find it eventually.
Oh, if you could post his channel link.
Yeah, I'm just gonna post it with the exact video that's in contention. The curve calculator found more curve is what it's called.
Yeah. Something along those lines. The thumbnail is just me sitting in the chair. Yeah, but this is a...
I found it. Got it. Okay.
I was calling it Aries diffraction, and that was wrong. The Aries dis, I guess, even though I swear this is like my Mandela effect. I know I've read Aries diffraction somewhere, but nonetheless, it's Fraunhofer diffraction.
Okay.
There are two types of diffraction in physics, Fraunhofer and Frenzel, and they are very distinct types. This is the one that happens when you are looking at infinity. Fresnel can happen. You're looking at your hand, you can't see the little lines, the little cells in your hand. That's Fresnel diffraction. It can happen right there in front of you. But Fraunhofer happens when diffraction creates your horizon line.
Okay, so I've just spammed the link to that very specific video. So it's called Perspective and How Our Eyes Work. That's the playlist, sorry. The video is called The Earth Curve Calculator Just Found More Curve. So I've just spammed the link to that. Number 1, go and subscribe to Zach immediately. And number 2, check out that video if you've been in any way aware of the discussion between Rory and Good Times for All, Zachary Sabala. So there you go. There's the proof that there is no perspective engineered in. I don't know if you're familiar with the new curve calculator on the block, which is the Walter Bislin one, and how they've essentially taken the aftermath of the calculation in whole numbers, feet and inches, meters, whatever you want to use, and then given you an angular size at the end. But people seem to be under the misapprehension that that's including angular size, otherwise known as the angular size limit, otherwise known as the diffraction limit, the very thing we're discussing, i.e. the calculation for where things would disappear of their own volition due to their angular size. That's not included. But giving you the outcome in an angular size is an after-the-fact smearing of bullshit, basically, isn't it? Oh yeah, it does include angular size. Look, there it says angular size.
Yeah, it's nonsense. But it's not taken into account in anything I've ever seen. And they call it the limit because it is with a perfect, just gas-based atmosphere, nitrogen, oxygen. It doesn't have particulates, water, dust, stuff like that. That will only make your diffraction limit get larger. The angle will get larger, and it will be harder to see more. Yeah, this is what makes the sun look like it is going down into the ground. This is it.
Yeah, the sun doesn't
It's
go
all
over the curve of
happening
the
in your
Earth.
eyes.
The sun moves towards the diffraction limit.
Yep. And we've all seen the videos where it looks to like when you're zoomed out that the sun is halfway down, and then he zooms in on it and he can still see it well above the ground. That's just how it works. And they've done a wonderful job. You know,
in a way, it's quite good that
hiding
Conspiracy Cats is highlighting, even though it's his parroted clowndom from his idiot followers that are just asking about diffraction, but the diffraction limit is a very real part of this debate, because that is what has been hijacked in order to engineering curve with a presuppositional R value. This is the essence of the debate. So in many ways, it's like, I'm quite pleased people are asking about diffraction, so we can move on to talk about the diffraction limit, the horizon, or have you been watching Life is Short?
I've seen his one documentary that he did that was amazing, but I haven't been keeping up with many videos.
Well, he just did the same presentation for Ranty, and I chopped it down into 1 hour sections because I think it was over the course of about 6 hours. Is that right, Ranty?
Yeah, that's the one. That was amazing.
Yeah, it was, mate. Yeah.
I mean, that's the conversation about. Essentially, if you want to summarize what he's talking about, he's talking, why do things disappear into the distance? Why do boats go over, or seemingly go over, the alleged curve of the Earth? He's talking about all of these things, and it's all summarized by the diffraction limit, right? So what we see at the horizon is the diffraction limit, but ultimately speaking, the angular resolution limit of a camera will still be calculable to tell you how far away a hair will disappear. I like that example. That's a Life is Short example. So, it's not just as easy as saying it's the horizon. You couldn't just say that's the diffraction limit. It's like, well, what about a hair disappearing at 20 paces? That's still the diffraction limit and calculable within the aperture size of the camera and the distance and the angular size of the thing you're looking at. So, just in summarizing what it isn't, it takes about 50 seconds, a minute, right? So this is for all those people asking me what diffraction is in the comments. It's not as simple as summarising it in a 10-second answer whilst being rumpused by an asshole who has proven space is fake. That's not that simple. But there we go.
Yeah, that was so pathetic. Just sitting there, every time you tried to say something, he'd start talking. Is this what they've come to? That is all I hear anymore.
That's it. That's the only tactic they have now, is to rump us, to not allow you to actually speak, while they simultaneously accuse me of censoring people with a mute button, while I let them have their conversation and systematically take apart what they have to say in a fairly concise way, because there's a limited amount of time. My point being that for Life is Short to summarise the diffraction limit took 6 hours, right? You know.
Yeah, it's that complicated, and yeah, it is.
Exactly.
And don't just go watch it once. It took me a year and a half of researching. Well, probably about 6 months of it was trying to add in atmosphere, like the actual atmosphere, what's actually going on, and it's not possible. You'd have to be able to stop time, you know.
Unless
it's
you
too
red
fluid
pill
of an
philosophy.
environment around us.
Unless you red pill, you've seen his video, right?
No, I'm not sure.
Okay, part of the analysis that was done on Ranty's footage was also on the red pill philosophy footage, where he basically had perfect conditions, and you could do it with the calculation. Now, this is something someone could have me over a barrel for, because I don't know the calculation. You probably know it, 1 over lambda or something like that. What is it?
Yeah, radians equals 1.22 times wavelength of light, or lambda, over the diameter of the aperture.
Wow. We're not worthy. We're not worthy. Yeah, so if anyone wants to get me on that, you can, because I won't repeat that back in a hurry.
Yeah, that's Rayleigh's criterion.
Right,
called.
Rayleigh's criterion, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably took you more than 10 seconds just to say that.
Yeah, it was well spent time, though. I wanted to know why, you know. I'd gone out there, I'd seen the bottom of stuff, and then the next day I go out and I see more. And the next day I go out and I see even more. And a lot of it has to do with where the sun is and things like that. Shadowing and lighting. There's so many things that come into play when you're taking pictures that it's impossible to do this optically, to make these measurements optically. I mean, we can tell that it isn't what we're told, but to say that, you know, we actually know exactly, I mean, I don't know. I'm still under the firm belief that I have no idea what this place is.
So I went off on a tangent and forgot my actual point why I was bringing up Life is Short and red pill philosophy. So red pill philosophy ended up where the water and air temperature were the same, and he could calculate it purely with the Rayleigh criterion to work out what should be missing given the distance, and he got it basically perfect within the maths, because the atmospheric conditions just didn't take hold. That's why I was saying, well, unless you red pill philosophy, because he basically got that perfect day where there was nothing but the mathematics of the distance, because the clarity was perfect, you know, within tolerance, just perfect. You know, I'm not saying it's luck, you know, he's out there a lot with his camera, let's face it. He's pretty dedicated with his I think he's got a P1000. Ranty probably know better than I do.
Yeah, he's got a P1000, mate.
Yeah, I thought so. But he just had that perfect day. You know, Ranty's had a couple of days like that as well, with that similar observation that he played at the beginning of the show of Barrow. You've had a couple of days, Ranty, wouldn't you agree, where you'd say the clarity is essentially perfect?
Oh yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. That video I played before was perhaps one of the worst videos that I've ever showed, but simply because the conditions weren't great. Even those couple of foot swells on the water was enough to block most of the buildings, but it's still evident enough to show that you can still see them even under those conditions. But yeah, I've seen it. When you've got real flat water, there's hardly any movement on the water. You just see shore to shore. Water lays flat. It doesn't curve to the curvature of the earth. Gravity isn't pulling it into a sphere shape. It's not doing that. And red pill videoed it. I've videoed it. Many other people have videoed it too. So you can't have flat water on a ball. That's it. That's as simple as that. You don't even need to go
just
Go on, Travis.
Just to repeat, yeah, the still waters last night, 2 inches off the.
I think they're coming round on Saturday. Maybe. I can't remember what day I booked it for, Travis. We've been joined by Chris. How you doing? Chris?
Good morning.
Good morning. Sorry, you slipped in and I didn't see you, so I didn't introduce you when you joined. Hopefully you've not been sat around forever.
No problem. I only have like another 10 minutes before I gotta get ready for work, but I thought I'd join and see what was going on.
Talking about flat water.
And are you talking about Sly's quote unquote experiment?
No, has he produced a hypothesis for his experiment? Really, the experiment should come after the hypothesis, so I'm certain that he's got one.
Oh no, I don't know about that. I'm just saying that's why I added the quotes. But it's called an test or observation from his tubes. In fact, I just saw his video. I think last night I was watching. I think it was a Globebusters or something. We're talking about it. Really, they were talking about how ridiculous it is. I didn't know if you all were talking about it.
I don't watch Sly, but if you're a fan of Sly, I'm well aware from Phuket Word being all over it. So Nick, shout out to you, Phuket Word. Check out his channel, subscribe today. He pulled apart the methodology for his quasi-experiment. I would simply assert that given that he's declared it's an experiment, that he should have a hypothesis. So if you're watching and you are a fan of Sly and you're subscribed, ask him for the hypothesis for his experiment. See what he comes up with. We'll check out the validity if we ever get one. If not, just another pseudoscience nonsense asserted by a pretender clown who likes to have some sort of scientific validity passed off or passed over his observation of a few pieces of man-made tubing. Nevertheless, ask him for his hypothesis if you feel so inclined.
So, not to change subject too drastically, but everyone has seen Sly's Cavendish test where he did it in his living room, right? And he put those like styrofoam boards around it and all that. Well, when you watch the video kind of in real time, it looks like he's got this torsion bar standing still, completely still. And then when he adds the bowling balls, right, then a few seconds later it starts to move. Somebody, and I can't remember who, put together like a 30-minute debunking Cavendish video, and they included that clip of Sly's. And what they did was they sped it up, and they did one of those things where you play it and you restart it, right, and replay it so you can see the effect more dramatically. But basically, they showed that before Sly even got his quote unquote balls set up on the other side of the weights, the torsion bar was already moving, and it was moving in the direction where he was putting the balls. So, and then that's exactly, I don't know if y'all remember, I did that, and I gave a little presentation of my Cavendish test, and I had the exact same thing happen. I let that thing sit for like maybe an hour, 2 hours, and it does sit still. The problem is when you go by it, even walking by it, it's so sensitive, it will start to move, and that's what happened in Sly's. So I've come to the conclusion that you can never, almost impossible, if not impossible, to do that test because it is so sensitive. See, they'll say, oh, well, it needs to be sensitive, right? Because you're dealing with small weights. Well, it's too sensitive. You can't get the torsion bar to completely stand still. And even if you did for half a second, moving around it, the airflow, literally the amount of airflow it takes to walk around the device and set it up and set your counterweights on it will cause movement, and Sly's demonstrates that. And again, I heard someone say they saw it. Again, I don't remember whose channel it was for the video, but it was a good one. So I don't know. My point is he's going to go out and do this water test and probably do something wrong again, and then claim curvature.
Can I ask, just the devil's advocate, you think it would be better? Well, I know it would be better if they do the Cavendish in a vacuum chamber, like the one they have at JPL, they say, and let it sit, and mechanically with a servo or something, bring in, like, open a little chamber, bring in the big balls from the ground or whatever, and that way there's no air movement, no airflow, and then we can, you haven't isolated every single variable. I know you're gonna say that because you still have electrostatic charge on the balls. I mean, these are steel balls, so but it would be better if there was no air, because air is as soon as you walk by it, anywhere near it, it just starts swinging. But if you take away the air, theoretically, it should just not, even when it's stabilizes, it should stay stable unless there's quote unquote a force acting on it.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, yeah, you could do that, or somebody could do that, and good luck. You know what I'm saying? Like everything you just described would
We
be
don't
like,
have anything like that.
right, it would be super difficult. You'd have to have some sort of robot or
Yeah,
something
servo.
in the vacuum chamber, because obviously a human can't be in there. And then
Correct.
setting it all up. But when I did it, if you've ever done it, or if you've done it recently after you've researched it, you feel like a complete idiot. Because it looks so stupid. You're just like waiting for this effect to happen, and it just doesn't. Or you can't. You're trying to get the bar to stand still, and it won't ever stand still. And you feel like, I'm telling you, I felt like a complete moron. Like, and I'm alone in my garage, doing this. I'm like, this is it looks ridiculous. It's moving. You can't get it to stop moving, or you can get it to stop moving after like 2 hours, and then you go by it and it starts moving again. It's really frustrating. It's just ridiculous. So again, it's sort of on the same topic of movement, this whole what is it, ring laser gyro thing, or fiber optic gyro, has been big news and hot topics lately. And everyone's talking about the sensitivity of those, and how, oh well, it's so sensitive, it's detecting the motion of the earth. Oh, okay, well, if it's so sensitive to detect the motion of the earth, won't it detect any motion and movement and vibrations at all? So won't it detect the vibration of your air conditioner, in the building that the ring laser gyro is installed in? Or won't it detect the vibration of the 4,000-pound engines on the airplane that this thing is installed in? Right. So it's like, again, it's like Cavendish. It's impossible to take away all the variables of motion and vibration. I was watching a video of a pilot saying that the wind hitting the outside of his aircraft, his airplane, can affect the internal ring laser gyro. And so I'm just like, well, how on earth could that thing, even ever calibrate itself, let alone detect 15 degree per hour when it's dealing with all these other movements, and vibrations? It just doesn't make any sense.
And with that, I'm going to say, if you are watching this on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. However, if you're watching this on the Nathan Oakley 1980 live stream, then this is where we bid you farewell. So a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who joined us in the live stream for smashing the super chat, sharing, and hopefully subscribing if you've not done so already, as my kids start to smack me around. So I think I'll probably pass back over to the panel before I get attacked too badly. So once again, a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
And this is maybe where I got what I just said, but it affected that. I think it was the temperature. It was either the temperature or the air pressure in the room changed, and it affected the ring laser gyro. So again, like to Nathan's point, if you don't have a scientific experiment, you can't show the cause. If you don't know the cause, it can be one of a dozen different reasons, right? So we can't know that for sure. We can't be certain what the cause is. It could be temperature, it could be air pressure, it could be the vibration of some sort of engine if you're on a plane, or air conditioner if you're in a room or a house or a building. Buildings have air conditioners. Where are these gyros at? We put it outside in nature. Well, there's wind. Is the vibration of the wind affecting this super sensitive device?
Eleanor, stop it. I'm going to put you in timeout if you keep doing that. Stop it. You're hitting Daddy. Did you see her smacking me around? Anybody watching the actual live feed? Ow! She's squeezing my face and pulling my ears. Stop it now. Come on. So can I just get one thing in there? That's the only reason I opened my mic. was to say that you can debunk the assertion that it's proving the Earth turning underneath, which is to say that if it's got a fixed frame of reference and the Earth is rotating underneath at 15 degrees an hour, then the Earth is rotating underneath at 15 degrees an hour. Well, if it's rotating underneath the fixed frame of an optical gyro, it's rotating underneath aeroplanes and helicopters and balls and anything else that's in that second frame of reference underneath, with the Earth rotating underneath.
Shout out to Joseph.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out to Joseph. Very useful, useful person to have asking the questions about it.
I loved it when he said, "Well, no." It's like, well, yeah, sorry, dude. You can't just say no.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And then I was watching another video the other night. Actually, this is all on Globusters, so I'm not taking credit for any of this, but they're talking about Coriolis and how, you know, these tanks can shoot their projectiles 25 miles or up to 25 miles, let's say. If you're shooting 25 miles, the time to hit the target's about 90 seconds. Well, if you're shooting north, and they were using a specific example, you know, you're at the equator, you're shooting north or south, and it takes 90 seconds, the target moves 25 miles. So the guy was like, you have to shoot off target. You'd have to shoot off target, like, I think he said 8 miles, you know, for the target to travel with the spin of the Earth to your projectile. And he's like, that is obviously absurd, and no one would ever shoot off target that much. You know, 25 miles away. So it's all ridiculous. And, you know, if you tell the baller that, they'll have some excuse, gravity or wind or who knows what at that point. But I mean, you know, it's easy to say, well, if you shoot a rifle at 1,000 yards, yeah, it's very minimal. No, these tanks are shooting up to 20, 25 miles. And that's a 90-second flight time for a non-motorized projectile, which is their latest thing against, you know, airplanes. Well, it's motorized, so it can turn.
Aren't the rail guns even worse?
Oh yeah, they're like 100 miles. So
yeah, like how are you getting things
talking
100 miles direct? I mean, that's direct line of sight, bro. 100
absolutely,
miles,
it's
and
ridiculous.
you're gonna hit that with curvature and Coriolis? Come on.
Yeah.
Joke. Give it up, guys. Just give it up.
So, gosh, sorry, Nathan, I'm trying to squeeze in a lot because I have to go in like 2 minutes, and I haven't been on in a while. So everybody who's been joining Jose's hangout, I know Slick James has. I know Sleeping Warrior did yesterday. Everyone or pretty much all the ballers in there come from Jim Panda's Discord server, and they all have the same. If you notice, they all have the same talking points. And they all know basically what to say one after the other. Brenda's in there, Curved is in there. And most of the time, they have nothing to add as far as any scientific evidence or even research or any evidence at all. They just sort of, right, they're just going to say what they say, which is basically nothing. But Slick James ran into that yesterday. I joined yesterday. I only had like 5 minutes to talk, but I tried to help him out, but I had to go soon. But just an FYI for anyone who joins Jose's YouTube, Google Hangout, because it's all Jim Panda's people. And they're all, you know, they will just try and they'll shoot down anything you say, no matter how much validity you have or how much evidence or research you put forth.
That's okay. It's still fun beating up on them. I still enjoy it.
Jose show is like old episodes of Nathan's show. That's what I feel like I'm watching, like the old reruns. So like the has-been ballers. That's all I feel like I'm watching.
They're going in there because they know it's going to be 8-2 or 9-1 baller to FE, you know. So they like that.
Exactly. It's what they want.
Yeah, they can interrupt and they can exert their will.
But the thing is, they need 8-1. That's about fair. I mean, I feel bad that they don't have more because 8-1 ain't enough.
Like I feel that.
I know what you're saying though. What you're basically saying is that's the only way they can win.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If they had 10, 20, 15, it's not going to make a whole lot of difference.
Well, they're based on consensus, aren't they? So they have a consensus reality. I mean, I was shocked to hear that when we went on Steve's. I don't know if you were there, Auntie. I can't remember. But either way, one of the first gambits was that they have, they just go with consensus. So if they've got more of them, they feel like they're winning because there's more of them.
Right.
We
No, I
all
didn't go
agree.
for that, Steve.
Say again, Ranty?
I didn't go when you went on Steve McRae's. No, I wasn't there.
Oh well, you didn't
I
miss
missed that
much.
one.
Didn't miss much.
Has anybody noticed, like, lately they've been, like, begging flat earthers for debates? Is it because they're realizing their, I don't know, irrelevance?
It's because they realise they're losing the debate. The debate is here on this channel. And they think that they can get a win by doing it somewhere else. That's why they want to do it elsewhere.
Yeah, but that's why it's quite handy to go on occasionally, because often I get criticised of not going on other platforms. It's like, well, that's simply not true. You know, before I had a debate, I was still out and about debating people. You're supposed to be in timeout for scratching Daddy. Sorry. Yeah, so I've lost my train of thought now, probably because there's blood dribbling down my face.
You were saying that you do get out and about.
Yeah, exactly. I've debated Tim Osman and P Mars. Is P still on there? I've gone on Tim Osman's channel. You know, I've been out and about when there was the availability to just search Flat Earth Live and find who was broadcasting there, and then I'd go out, watch their show live, and try and join their panel there and then. You know, I've been on plenty of the other, I forgot what it's called, the Flat Earth debate channel when it existed. I've been on there plenty of times. You know, so it's nonsense to assert that. You know, but I watch the same thing happen, which is you go on a show, you find that your volume's lower than everybody else's, so you can hardly get a word in, or if you can hardly be heard, or you get muted, or like you say, it's 10-1 ballers versus one flat earther, with them just non-stop ridiculing and not really letting you make any points. And I wanted to, you know, make my points. So it's like, well, I'll set up my own platform and build its reputation. So by the time you get to the point that you've built a reputation, you've gone through the 100 shows where it's been like that, like Jose's got at the moment. You go, well, no, I've now built up the reputation with my own show that's specifically about debate. So when people like Red Rhetoric or whoever tell their audience that they want to debate me, it's like, well, that's good, because the door is open. And do I give a toss about going anywhere else? Well, occasionally I might go out to Anthony's if he called me out on the spot, because, you know, Anthony's my mate. if Anthony's calling me to do that, I'll go, yeah, sure, it's Anthony, right? That's different. Red Rhetoric? Do I owe Red Rhetoric anything? No. Do I give a shit that he wants to debate me? No. But if he does want to debate me, he can, because I've set this platform up. That's the only reason he wants to debate me. Does that make sense? So it's like, no, well, you can come to me if you want to. The door's still open. It's open now. You know, if someone went into the Hangout link from the live show that's just passed and pressed the button, they could come in now, literally now.
You know what I notice is that, especially people like Reds, they are not traveling outside of a particular circle. I mean, they just will not go any farther than that. You don't see them past, you know, a couple spots. That's it. And they're all surrounded and protected. Like they got Secret Service with them everywhere they go, you know.
Hey, yeah,
They need
so
that.
absolutely. Hey, so I keep saying I have to go, and I do have to go. I posted a link in chat, so maybe you want to look at it in the next debate or wait till the next time I'm on. But this is something that I came across, and it's something that Anthony tries to get across. He was trying to get across, I think, yesterday and a few days ago with both Fight the Flat Earth, and then I think yesterday on Jose's. But this is honestly kind of blew my mind, because I was really just looking to see at the official research and quote unquote current science, as Anthony likes to put it, on gravity, right? Because I was always confused about the difference in Newtonian and Einsteinian. But I found this article, and it's from the Cornell Astronomy Department or whatever. But either way, I mean, you can find other sources, but this just blew my mind. So let me just read a couple sentences, and then I'll have to go. And feel free to use it on the next show if you want. If you have nothing else, you literally read this page and put this all to rest. But so it says, the question is, if gravity isn't a force, how does it accelerate objects? It says general relativity says that energy tells space-time how to bend, and the bending of space-time tells that energy how to move. So Slick, there's your energy argument. But now listen to this. It says a body undergoing geodesic motion, which geodesic motion, they mean curvature of space-time, feels no forces acting upon itself. Wow. It is just following what it feels to be a, quote, downward slope through space-time. The particular geodesic an object wants to follow is dependent upon its velocity, but perhaps surprisingly, not its mass. Wow, again. There are no forces acting upon that body. We say this body is in free fall. Gravity is not acting as a force. So I mean, that when I read all that, and there's a little bit more to it, it blew my mind. So that takes away the whole gravity is a force argument, and therefore a force is required for acceleration. Well, according to this and Einstein, that's not even true. So if you don't need a force for acceleration, maybe you don't need anything for an acceleration in terms of the whole density buoyancy argument. So density right there could even be argued that density is all you need. You don't need a force for acceleration, because if you don't need a force for gravity and Einsteinian, then why would you need a force at all? And then not only that, but Nathan, they keep saying, we have gas pressure because of gravity, or partly because of gravity, the force of gravity. Well, if it's not even a force, then that argument goes right out the window.
Yeah,
Wow.
Einsteinian gravity completely eradicated Newtonian gravity. They're in completely different mathematical subsections. So they're not related in any way, shape or form. I mean, if you watched the most recent Ballbusters, the Saturday Ballbusters, this is all we covered.
Have you guys ever heard Brian Cox describe Einstein's gravity as opposed to Newton's?
That was quoted in Ballbusters. Feel free to go ahead, Chocolate.
Yeah, that was
No,
great, actually. Hey, Nathan,
Yeah.
is there like a PDF where all the, because I think I have to do this manually if you guys don't have it, but I wanted to get all those citations, especially the one from Newton in Principia and the one he wrote a letter to that one guy, and all the other ones. Is there a PDF where they're linked to like Google Books? If not, I'll do it. I want to find.
No, I mean, when
the
John does
link
bring
to
up his
Google Books.
citations, he does post the citations if people have
I
asked him.
noticed that. I don't. You know how a baller is gonna say to that. That needs to be. I need to find it in Google Books, highlighted with links. So if anybody, if I need, I'm gonna put them on my phone. So anytime I can go in that, in that page, grab what I want, copy the Google Books link, and send them the photocopy of the book. I can't give them a notepad or like a text editor with the citation. It'd be much more. It would have much more gravitas, pun intended, if it's the actual book.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, that's one of those things that when I've come across the subject and I've asked John specifically, he'll just send me a whole bunch of citations that he stuck out, and I'll go through them and check them, and that's why I trust John, because it gives you lots of citations to go and check, and that's all you really need. The thing to remember though is the citations, they're only there to assist your argument. They're not actually the argument. So I generally, because I'm lazy, try and avoid using citations if I can avoid it, especially when I'm running a show, because it's just a pain in the ass to go and Google something. It's very, it might sound easy enough for somebody on your side of the screen, because generally you're sat there and you've got, you can type away on your keyboard, and if your camera's not on, no one will even know you're doing it. Whereas for me sat here, it's actually incredibly difficult to go and Google search something or bring up someone's video if, there's lots of dead air. And like when Zach was talking, I'm trying to find his video, but there just ends up being loads of dead air while I try and do something that's not running the show. So yeah, I try and avoid using citations at all possible, at any juncture, just because it's much easier to just make the argument convincingly. So that's because I'm lazy though.
Okay, well, I'll go find them, because it's really, I think it will pack a more bigger punch if they actually look at Newton's handwriting in a old school font, and like a photocopy. I think it will punch him in the face a little harder than if it's just like a text. You know what I mean, like a copy paste.
Yeah, you'd hope that was the case, but in many instances, they hear it, ignore it, and then the following day will parrot Cavendish, like we've still got Newtonian Cavendish gravity in the current pseudoscience arena.
Yeah, well, I'll share it with you guys when I'm done.
Thanks. I'll stick it in the chat as well.
But I'm bugging out as to why nobody else is describing it the same way Mr. Brian Cox, one of their priests, describes it, as actually it's Earth moving up to meet Newton's apple. I mean, I've never
Yeah,
heard
that was
anyone.
Einstein. That's what Einstein said. That Brian crying box is parroting.
Right,
Yeah, this is all
right.
Einsteinian principles. Fabric of space-time. What a load of nonsense.
That sounds like flat Earth society stuff. Earth moving up.
Oh, it
Yeah,
does.
that is Flat Earth Society.
It's a little bit crazy there, guys.
Well, no,
Make fun of
not at
flat
all.
Earth.
They've just retained the same rhetoric. So, Flat Earth Society, why would you think that they would need that idea of the upward force of Earth? That's the converse, right? That's the bit that you're saying, oh, it's like it because it's the converse. But then you hear Brian Cox asserting it in that way, and it's basically the same. Well, why would Flat Earth Society, the controlled opposition, want gravity in their narrative when it's completely superfluous to requirements? Why would you think that would be?
They need to maintain gravity.
Yeah, but why? What's the useful purpose? What's gravity used for on the sphere Earth? What's its main
because
point?
they want you to think that you're stuck upside down on the ball.
Yeah.
Without
No,
it, you
no.
wouldn't be upside down in Australia.
It holds the ball together.
Right, but where is the ball? What's the current rhetoric for
In
gravity?
space, in space.
The bending of
Needed.
what time? What time was it that it's bending again?
A fabric.
Space time.
What kind of time?
Space.
Space time. Oh right. So when they show you the Flat Earth Society pizza hurtling up through, where was it hurtling up through again?
I think it's space.
Space. So they need the narrative of space to be part and parcel of the controlled opposition. It's critical
That makes total
because
sense.
ultimately speaking, the whole narrative of heliocentrism falls to pieces with one argument. I've said this on Jaren's, I've said this on Patricia's, I've said this here, I've said it on Ballbusters. The single best argument to debunk heliocentrism is, how do you have gas pressure without a container? The vacuum of the sky is the second law of thermodynamics violation. You can't have a vacuum of the sky. Well, the vacuum of the sky is the linchpin of their very religion. So if you debunk that, everything falls apart at the seams. So that's why it's included in the controlled opposition narrative. They still want you to be arguing about it. That's why it's encouraged on our side for us to try and debunk the ISS. Because every single ISS debunking automatically begs the question for them. So there's no address to the fact that they're travelling through a fake medium. You just address whether or not they could be travelling at the speed they travel in the fake medium, whether or not their pressure would be expanding out into the gasless zone of space on the ISS, whether or not the metals are thick enough to withstand the forces of space. So every argument, while they try and debunk the narrative of the on-screen set that is the ISS, you're not addressing the very fact that it's going to travel to a fake medium. It's travelling to Narnia, but you're looking at whether or not the costume on the lion's real in Narnia. Forget the costume on the lion. What about Narnia?
Yeah, I think I understand what you're saying now. In other words, while they're having us arguing over the SSS, they're still promoting space. And while we think we're debunking the ISS, we think space is still there, and that's their whole point. You can talk about the ISS all day long as far as they're concerned, because they just want you to think space.
Exactly.
That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah. So long as you're arguing about whether or not it's possible for something to happen in space, the whole premise of your argument is that space exists. It's just whether or not the ISS would work in space, whether or not the light in the sky is in space, how they say it is. But it all works around the idea that you're in space, even if you're arguing to debunk a rocket or debunk a spaceship. It's still whether or not it'll work in space. You know, that's why I can't remember the guy's name, but a guy was on the panel the other day. Really nice guy and sound, smart, not stupid, and was talking about rockets not working in a vacuum. So the whole premise of his argument is that there is a vacuum, but the rockets wouldn't work in it. So he's building a vacuum to say, this bit's space, right?
One thing I like to ask Globers is, when was it, I guess, proved in their history that there is a vacuum in space. And
Never.
They don't know, and it's in the late 1600s by Blaise Pascal, Florent Perrier, and Otto von Guericke. So how do they confirm? I mean, they concluded that there must be a vacuum between the Earth and the Moon, but how did they confirm that in the late 1600s?
I don't know. That's a question that goes to the history narrative, right? We're never going to be able to get a time machine and figure that out. But part of the narrative you can point out is that they knew there was a vacuum of the sky in the 1600s. Isn't that interesting? That's all you can really do with that information. Even highlight it to people and see if they bite on it or not. Because John brought exactly the same thing up on Ballbusters. How the hell do you know there's a vacuum?
It's a presupposition, I think, on their part. My thing, I was just sitting there thinking about it, because if you have, as well as I do, if I go real fast in a car, I'm getting all kinds of resistance from air. So for things to be flying at thousands and thousands of millions of miles or whatever miles an hour, it's a presupposition that you have to have, because you would have drag if it's not. You have to have a vacuum. Things to be spinning around us. It has to be flying through space.
I've got to go.
Can I jump in real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Did you say you got to go, Ranty? Just before you jump in, Travis, did you say you got to go?
Well, I said I have to go in about 10 minutes, but I did have a question to ask the panel. So if Chucky,
well, go ahead, Ranty.
It's changing the subject slightly. So if you want to carry on,
go on, Travis.
Okay, well, it just goes back to what Chocolate brought up with Brian Cox gravity. So this is a complete thought experiment based on their model. So if I'm an individual and I drop an apple, or an apple falls from a tree near me, and it's the Earth that is moving up toward the apple, right? We're in a time and place where I can be talking to someone who is allegedly 180 degrees from me on the other side of the globe. Now, if we both drop an object at the same time and we're both on opposite ends,
this is exactly what I was thinking about.
The Earth is going to have to expand. The Earth is going to have to go toward that object at the same time, which means the Earth is expanding every single time in every single place whenever someone falls to the ground.
That's not how the mathematics work. Relativity depends on your location when you start the mathematics.
Yeah, but if you drop the apple and the Earth is moving up, if you drop an apple in North America and it goes down because the Earth is moving up, the Australian apple, when you drop it, it goes up because the Earth was moving up, right?
Earth is moving.
There's no. If the Earth is moving up in North America, and to meet the apple, and somebody upside down in Australia, when they throw the apple at the same time, if the Earth was moving up in the North America, then the apple will move upwards and away, upside down. It doesn't make any sense.
You can only drop one apple at a time.
Yeah,
that's the key. Yeah,
exactly. You're only going to be in one place at once, so it's down to the relativity of your particular location at that particular time when you take the measurement of the apple, and how the space-time bends at that particular moment.
And then this brings in the twin paradox, where in relativity, if a spaceship leaves Earth at the speed of light and moves away, then you can easily say that the spaceship stood still and Earth moved away, because it's all relative. It's both valid to say both. And in that case, then who's aging? Because if you remember the whole twin thing where, if you're moving at speed of light, you age. The time goes slower for you. So when you come back, everybody else is older. Well, then if it's relative, then you can say that the spaceship was stationary and the Earth moved, and everybody on Earth stayed young, and the spaceship people got old. So you can't have, it's like a chicken and an egg thing. So who got old? Who's getting old? Older.
Big mind.
And that was one of the main. That's one of the main reasons. I don't know if you guys know who Herbert Dingle is. Have you heard of him?
No.
Herbert Dingle was this dude who was like a relativist, and he was like Einstein's, right hand man, I guess you want to call him. He wrote, if you go on Amazon, and you can see he's written textbooks. There's one of them called Relativity for All. a bunch of other books, textbooks on relativity taught in school. I looked at Google Books because I love going in there and finding old books, and I found one from the University of California. So they were teaching it in universities, his books. And then toward the end of his life, I mean, he was so good, such a friend with Einstein when he died, apparently, allegedly, I haven't seen it, but I've heard that BBC had him give his eulogy, just like how, when Stephen Hawking died, they did this whole eulogy thing. So Dingle was all up, like he was front runner in the relativity thing until he got older, and then he couldn't tackle these paradoxes, and specifically the twin paradox that I just brought up. And he was done. He wanted to publish and say, this doesn't make any sense. It fails on multiple levels, and he couldn't get published. So he published his own book. It's a PDF you can find online. It's a great book, not that long. It's 118 pages or something. It's called Science at the Crossroads. So if you just Google PDF, Dingle Science Crossroads PDF, and you'll find it. It's a great book that goes through all his grievances with relativity. And now he's dead. Nobody knows anything about him. So that sucks.
Wow. Well, I'll look up that for sure. I'm leaving in a minute, guys, but I need to ask everybody here a question because I'm sure everyone's listening. Because I'm going to go live in probably 3 hours or so, and I'm going to be doing it on the Mandela effect. If you guys have ever heard that term,
Bernstein Bears.
Yeah,
you've heard of it. So, guys, can I ask you?
Aries diffraction.
You've seen the film Moonraker. Nathan, you got out here. But have you seen the film Moonraker?
Yeah, that's a key.
Right, Jaws, who has the metal teeth, doesn't he? The big guy.
Yep.
So, you know when he meets the woman, the love of his life, and he smiles at her and she smiles back at him? Do you remember that scene? Do you remember the scene? Yeah. Does she have metal teeth?
Yeah, she had braces.
She had braces, didn't she? Dolly had braces. And it never happened.
I know, it never happened.
What the fuck?
As Ranty goes through this complete and utter nonsense, I will bid a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the debating panel for making today's live and after show debate possible. Also, a massive thank you to all of you in the Nathan Oakley 1980 premiering stream for tuning in, smashing the super chat, hopefully subscribing and all that good stuff. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. Check out the nathanoakley.com forum to keep up to date with the community debate. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!